Hello and welcome to another episode here on the MoleRP channel. My name is Casble and today we are watching the Exilecon 2023 Keynote, aka everything about Path of Exile 2 and even Path of Exile Mobile. I'm kind of curious about a few quick notes before we jump into this. I'm also streaming this live to other people, so if you're wondering who am I talking to, who am I reacting to, right, I'm streaming it. We will also chill here a little bit because it's also pretty late here. Like, keep in mind that those thing is starting at like, what, it's 12 a.m. my time, yay. I will just drink a little bit in the meantime. And yeah, it will be a very relaxing reaction video to this. And if you're wondering, okay, what is your expertise in Path of Exile? Well, I would say I have like 700 hours in PoE. I know that's laughable in comparison to other players, absolutely noob numbers. The interesting part is that I started to play Path of Exile when the dude, I always forget his name, it's not Hillock. The dude in Act 1, the Warden, that's the name. When the Warden was actually the end boss. And then they added actually the Siren as an end boss and so on and so forth. Like, that's when I started to play PoE. Yeah. So I have been around PoE since the closed beta days, where you still needed like an invitation and all that. So I have been around for the game, but I haven't played it as much as other people did for various reasons. I'm not the biggest fan of like resetting my characters too often, and the whole events which are coming back, it was always a little bit tough for me. But what I have to say, one of the things which really stopped me just playing and enjoying the game was me having to go through the story all the time. I didn't find the story interesting. It still took far too long to get to the actual gameplay. And PoE endgame and PoE leveling were two completely different games. And PoE leveling just completely pushed me away. I know for some people, they're just running a podcast in the background or a movie, and then they're doing it in 7 hours. Sorry, I just ate something hot before this because I needed something to eat very quickly. But leveling sometimes took me a week in PoE. Even though I knew everything, even though I was relatively quick, because I just didn't enjoy it. I didn't enjoy it. So one of the biggest things I hope for PoE2 is that the story will be quality instead of quantity, and that afterwards there will be a way to circumvent it. Like Diablo does since Diablo 3. I love that. Like, I know that people are like, yeah, but Diablo, it's for noobs. This is one of the very few things I loved in Diablo 3. I have no love left for Diablo 3 and how Blizzard handled it, but the skipping level, well, not leveling, but the skipping playing the campaign, that was such a great thing, right? And I want that in PoE. Or if I have to go through the campaign, don't make it 10 acts. Make it 5 at best. I actually loved when, what was it? Act 4 was the end. I actually loved that. I really, really loved that that was the end. Like, it was short, it was good, it made sense, and you kind of felt like, okay, you actually have finished the game. Like, it made sense that this was the end of Path of Exile. And then they were like, no, we have 5 more acts. And I was like, oh, no. I cannot really give you like a completely detailed thought. I want that they're upgrading the interface. Like the interface always felt a little bit outdated in the first PoE. I hope you can do with, like, this is a problem. I hope you can do without trading, much more without trading and crafting. Like, I think the problem with PoE is, which in the end like pushed me off the game, there were too many systems in the game. Systems you had to relearn when you came back, and it was so not just overwhelming, but it felt like if you didn't know exactly what every single system, trading, crafting, the end game, and a lot of other things, if you didn't know what they did before you started to use them, you would do more damage than actually helping yourself. And you would fall back so much. Like, I really love the endgame system of PoE. I think the Atlas of Worlds and all that is such an amazing system. And I'm really hoping we will see that in PoE2 again. But everything else, and this is again like a personal opinion, and I don't think this will ever happen because that's not what Path of Exile is about, but it is this: you do everything yourself. Like, some of the best items in PoE are some gray-white items you just find, and they can become the strongest items in the game. And then you find some of the uniques / legendaries, right? And you are just like, yeah, right? And I just want them to give them like more. Like, again, it's not Diablo. I know people are like, well, that sounds like you want Diablo. I like the system beyond that. Like, I really do like the, what is it called? Like all the systems they're doing with the gems, and you are slowly like creating like a really powerful items. But I also would love to see them having some options. Right? It's weird. Can I say, and this is the last thing I will say before it starts here, I don't know what I want from Path of Exile 2. I don't know what I really want from that game. I can't even pinpoint it. Because I think that the parts which are already there in PoE, and thanks to all the leaks and the expansions basically they added to the game, made the game so good over the years. So I'm just curious, what can they now bring to PoE2 since they announced it 4 years ago? Right. That is...
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh.
Here.
Hi, Crip.
And welcome to Exilecon! Thank you all so much for joining us here in New Zealand. It's quite a journey. Thank you guys for joining us online. It's going to be a fantastic show.
Wait, are you not streaming this, Crip?
What's coming up in Path of Exile?
Man, Crip is one of those people who hasn't changed looks-wise in like 10 years or so. He is now doing this, or 15 years.
Before we get into
so weird, man.
Wonderful future, let's take a moment to go over all the wonderful things we have already experienced in Path of Exile. Let's take a moment to check out Path of Exile from the past.
Also, I love like his accent has like changed. Oh wow, that's like the unreleased trailer.
Life is fleeting.
A worthy opponent. Go with God. Death to sin.
Man.
The touch of God. Bow to your queen, mortal.
You there. Let me bend your ear for a moment.
I've not played Bloodlines. I played Torment. I played The Awakening. Yes. I don't play Warbands, I think. Yeah, Ascendancy, I played that. Played Prophecy. Yeah, Atlas of the Worlds, of course. I don't know what that is. Legacy League? Okay, Fall of the Oriat. This is when they put too many enemies into the game. Too many acts into the game. Oh yeah, Beastery. That was such a weird league, not gonna lie. Delph. Oh my god, Delph is already like 5 years ago, or Betrayal? Wow.
Do you remember dying here? You will.
I didn't like Synthesis. Legion was cool. I like Legion.
It's branching, Exile.
Nah, Blight was... I loved Metamorph. I didn't like Delirium.
To the grove, Exile.
I mean, people loved Harvest.
This one should be rather.
I haven't played Heist.
Does the toy wish to play with me?
Echoes of the Atlas, yeah.
Your path to greatness.
I didn't play Ultimatum. Oh no, I think it did. I think it did. I didn't play the Expedition. Yeah, no, definitely not. Didn't play Scourge. I did play the Siege. Yes. Nope. Nope. I think this is where I kind of stopped with PoE a bit. And Crucible was the newest one, yeah. And people apparently love that. I haven't played it. Oh yeah. This is what they showed, right? Which was basically just... I think they really want to show, like... how this would change. This was 4 years ago. Ooh. Oh, this is... oh my god, the monk. Man, also, look at the fluidity, man. This looks so good. I'm really curious about how PoE2 has, like, changed in the 4 years. Hi, Chris! It's the Will. It's the man. It's the Wilson. The Searing Exarch.
Hi, I'm Chris
What is that
Wilson
shirt?
from Grinding Gear Games.
Hi, Chris.
Welcome to ExileCon 2023.
Oh, I remember what this
It
is.
feels like just
He's a
yesterday that I was
boss.
here on stage at ExileCon 2019
He's a boss for the
announcing
card game or something
Exile
they're doing at the
Since then, we have worked
convention.
tirelessly on the content we're going to show you this weekend. To everyone here in person, thank you so much for coming out to join us. It honestly feels so good to know that people love Path of Exile so much that they fly across the world to come and celebrate it with us in person here. I really
You're
hope you have a
welcome.
great trip.
I didn't
Make the
fly
most of your time
over
in New
there, but
Zealand.
you're welcome.
Our last ExileCon was a magical experience, and we've tried to go above and beyond in every way this time. If you're tuning in online to watch the live stream, thanks for joining us also. I wish you could all be with us here, but to ensure you have the full ExileCon experience, we have made sure to include every talk and session as part of the 2-day live stream this weekend.
Yeah, we will,
Twitch
by the way,
drops are
only
enabled for
watch
the live
this
stream,
part.
But if you're here in the audience, you'll
Because
automatically get them when
it
you
gets
redeem the
too late.
microtransaction code in your swag bag, so no need to stream it from your phones while you're watching. You'll also receive the attendee-only ExileCon 2023 hideout. We have so much to share with you this weekend, and let's just get right into Path of Exile 2.
Oh, wow.
I'd like to introduce Jonathan Rogers and Mark Roberts, game directors of Path of Exile 2.
Hey guys. While Chris has been running Path of Exile 1, Mark and I and over 100 other developers have been hard at work on PoE2. And honestly, the project has become much bigger than we expected when we announced it in 2019. It's been almost 4 years since then, and so it's about time we showed
This is
you what we've
completely
been working on.
unrelated and doesn't matter.
Oh, hang on.
But if you ever had a business
Sorry,
class,
okay. When we announced Path of Exile 2 at ExileCon 2019, we told you guys
Take
that we
your
were releasing
hands
it as an
out
expansion
of your
to
pockets
PoE1, and that
when
both
you were
campaigns
talking.
would be playable in the same game client with a shared end game. But PoE2's scope has continued to grow and grow, and it's far more than just an expansion with a new campaign. It has entirely new monsters, skills, mechanics, classes, everything you'd expect from the next generation of action RPGs.
so will not be
Not to mention
connected to
revamps of most of the
PoE2?
PoE1 lead
PoE1?
content. This thing is just freaking huge. There was a point where we realized that our plan to replace PoE1 with PoE2 would essentially be getting rid of a game that people love for no real reason. So we made a decision. Path of Exile 1 and 2 will be separate with their own mechanics,
Good.
balance, endgames, and leagues.
Whoa,
It's still a shared
but
platform.
good.
Your microtransactions are available across both games. Everything you have ever purchased or will ever purchase in the future will be usable in both games unless it's hyper-specific to the content of one of them. You can't transform into a bear in PoE1, so a reskin of your bear form isn't going to work. But you absolutely can equip the awesome armor set that you got and use all your stash tabs. So with that in mind, we'd love to show you a live demo of some of the stuff we've been working on. PoE2 has come a long way. Mark here is going to man the PC. Hopefully he doesn't die. It is a live gameplay demo after all.
I know he is nervous, but again, take your hands out of your pocket.
All right.
But yeah, so PoE2 is now its own game. Good. No, seriously.
Gods caused all this,
Good.
you know. After Oriath was destroyed, I traveled.
Oh my god, this looks so
searching
much
for
better.
answers. Everywhere I went, the same divine devastation.
Ma'am.
It must end. I will end it.
Also,
And
cutscenes.
no exile will stop me.
So the witch is back. The ranger is back. The duelist is back. The shadow is back. The templar is back. Wow, this looks so much better. Marauder is back. The warrior. The huntress. Whoa, wait, what? Sorceress. Mercenary. Monk. Druid. Oh my god, there is a monk class. It looks so much Diablo IV, but so much darker even. Prisoner. Okay, the interface is still pretty much the same here. Ooh, I love the boss fights. Oh my god, this monster design looks amazing. Oh, they have a huntress. Ew. Oh. Oh. But still. 600 monsters. Wow. 100 bosses? Didn't new skill to read 36 Ascendancy. This is insane. 6-person co-op.
This world
Oh my
will
lord.
be reborn, no matter the cost.
What's that? Not that thing, whatever that is. But yeah, was that innocence? Man, I have questions. So many questions. I'm hyped.
All right, Mark. Your turn now.
That's not blue screen. Oh, he has 8 points.
Welcome to Path of Exile 2.
Yeah, don't throw
I'd like
them.
to start off by showing you some of the gameplay of Act 3, one of the 6 acts in PoE2's campaign.
6
We're
acts,
starting
okay.
here in the jungle depths. Act
Better than
3 is set in
10.
the ruins of the Baal civilization, which fell thousands of years ago. Jungle has taken over their former once great cities.
Oh.
And we'll be exploring it using one of the 6 new character classes called the Monk.
Yes!
In PoE1, we had 1 character class for each of the combinations of strength, dexterity, and intelligence.
Yes.
When looking at the design of PoE2, though, we realized that many of the new skills that we were trying to design just didn't really fit thematically with the existing classes that we have.
Oh
Being a
my
spellcaster with a bear form makes sense for strength int, but it just doesn't really sound like something a Templar would do. We realized that since we had new mechanics for every attribute combination, it actually made sense to design a new character class to avoid to explore the new themes. In PoE2, every attribute combination has 2 classes associated with it.
Oh, that's
Strength
duration
int
support.
has the Templar or the Druid. On Dexterity, you have the Ranger or the more spear-focused Huntress. And on Dex int, you have the Shadow and the Monk, which Mark is playing here. Each class has its own 3 ascendancies that let you further specialize the class in a way that only that class has access to.
Oh.
They both start at the same location on the passive tree. The quest rewards you are offered on the 2 variants are tailored to the class, but of course, this is PoE. You can still mix and match anything to your heart's content.
Yeah. A little bit more restriction I wouldn't complain about. Freaking Silverback is
Looks
back.
like we've come across the boss for this area. In PoE2, every area of the campaign contains a boss of at least this difficulty. That's over 100 bosses to fight as you make your way through the campaign, and they all have unique mechanics.
That's amazing. Oh god, the monk is so highly movability, man. Also,
As you've been watching from Mark,
those are still
fighting
the same
here,
amount
you'll
of
notice that melee
abilities,
combat
right?
in PoE2 is a very different feel than before. We've done a lot of things to add mobility to combat.
Yeah.
Practically every melee skill in PoE2 has some kind of movement built into it. But the monk in particular is a melee fighter who specializes in mobility over brute strength.
Oh, that's so great. This looks amazing, man. Look at this. Oh, up with transportation. Also, good job.
So, as Mark has been playing, you might have noticed these blue markers over enemies. Mark has a skill equipped called Killing Palm. Whenever an enemy has a blue indicator over it, it means that the monster has low enough life to cull with Killing Palm. Successfully executing the cull will give you a power charge. This is an important skill for the monk, since many of his skills interact with power charges. One of the great things about this skill is that it has a built-in dash forward, which makes it much easier to target the skill right at the point where you need it.
The animations
We've done a
look
huge amount of work
so
in PoE2
good.
to make using skills like this feel satisfying.
Like,
if you're accidentally targeting
you can feel the weight to it.
To the cullable target, and it will even do a small amount of pathfinding around obstacles. We really want to make sure that when you've got an opportunity to use the skill, nothing is going to get in your way. Once you have some power charges, you're going to need some skills to power up. A great follow-up is Falling Thunder. Falling Thunder without a power charge just creates a relatively small lightning AoE in front of you. But if you do it with power charges, it turns into a pack clearer with a large number of
Yeah, we
extra
saw
projectiles.
that.
One thing to notice here is that, like almost every melee skill in PoE2, Falling Thunder has a little bit of extra movement built in, just in case you need it. Use the skill within range, and you just do the flip in place. But use it at a larger range, and your character will move forward while executing it, getting you into position without any time penalty. In PoE2, you also get a short period to redirect your target. Notice how you can start the skill facing one way, then whip the mouse sideways to land the skill in a different direction?
Oh, it doesn't feel that wooden
now, in order to get power
anymore.
charges, you're going to first need to get
I
some
hated
low life
that in
monsters into
PoE.
a colorable range. You've got a few options if you want to charge right in. Whirling Assault is great. It doesn't do much damage per hit, but it covers a lot of ground. And notice how you can turn as you do it?
Spin
Generally
to
speaking, you never lose
win.
control of your character in PoE2. If you make a turn at the right time, you can get a couple of extra hits on the monsters, getting them in range of your cull. Follow up with a Killing Palm and then finish off the rest of the pack with your Falling Thunder.
Oh. The Machinarium.
We've now entered the Vaal Mechanarium. This is the place where the Vaal built the various constructs that they relied on to power
Oh,
their civilization.
great. I like the new waypoint.
This is a find. A Vaal ruin that hasn't.
Hey, Alva.
I wonder why nobody's been in here before.
One
Of
useful
course.
feature we've added is the ability to call in NPCs to where you are to give you more information or help you with quest objectives, rather than always having to go back to town. In this case, we've
Oh.
called in Alva to find out what to do.
This
Wait, what?
mechanism, if powered with a small soul core, it could open that door.
Oh.
There should definitely be soul cores somewhere around here. They had to
I
power
think that
these
will help
constructs
quite a bit for
somehow.
new players who have
As
never
Alva
played the
just said,
game.
we need to find a small soul core to open this door. Let's explore.
Yeah.
To shave off some life without getting too close to some of the more dangerous monsters, a great option is Wind Blast. Wind Blast
Yeah.
also doesn't do too much damage, but it keeps enemies back. The closer they are, the farther they're pushed back. So it's a great option for keeping smaller but higher damage enemies at bay. Note that the bigger the enemy is, the less they'll be pushed back. So trying to push back some giants isn't going to be as effective.
That makes kind of sense, yeah.
And there's the soul core. Let's get back to the door.
Wow, that was easy. And we're ignoring the elite. Hey, this looks amazing so far.
Consider me impressed. I'll keep investigating in here. Bring me in if you find anything else.
Now, if you need to defeat tougher enemies, it might be time to break out some of the ice skills in the monk's arsenal.
The
Glacial
what?
Cascade creates a wave of ice that moves slowly in front of the player.
Oh, the ice
It's pretty
skills.
ineffective against fast-moving monsters because most of the damage occurs right at the end of the wave, and so a lot of monsters will just walk right by it. But if you can find a way to make a monster stop at just the right place, it can be very effective. In order to do that, you're probably going to want to freeze some monsters. The monk has a few different tools to do this. A fairly simple option is to get right in the monster's face with Ice Strike. Ice Strike doesn't do too much damage at the first 2 hits, but attack 3 times in sequence and you can get off a combo that has a much higher chance to freeze. Get in there with the freeze, then roll back and finish the job with Glacial Cascade. Now, remember how Glacial Cascade is that extra damaging spike at the end? If you hit a frozen enemy with that spike, it shatters the ice on the enemy and does a devastating amount of damage.
Oh,
This
that's
is a really great combo
cool.
against bosses, as you'll see later. Oh yeah, and I've just been casually mentioning rolling around. Did I forget to mention that in PoE2 we added a dodge roll to every character? Just press spacebar at any time
Yes.
to roll. There's
I love it. I know people are like, no, that's like
there's no
Diablo.
cooldown
Oh.
and no limitations.
What? Whoa.
And it even has pathfinding in it, so you don't get stuck on anything. When you when you dodge roll, you're not as vulnerable. If something hits you, you're going to feel it. But most things aren't going to hit you, and that's because while you're rolling, projectiles and melee strikes will always miss.
Oh,
You'll have to
wow.
roll with a
iframe,
weapon
huh?
slam that has AoE,
Well,
but
kind
anyone
of.
swinging a sword or throwing a fireball is going to miss. Now, another important function of dodge roll is it lets you cancel out of any skill at any time. This makes it so you don't feel like
Wow.
you're getting stuck during a long animation when something's about to
That
hit you.
helps so much.
It
PoE
really
had
changes
that
how skills with
problem.
longer attack and cast times play, and makes dodge roll a very reliable feeling way to avoid attacks.
There was such a big
that's
thing
one
in
way to downplay
PoE that
damage, but
some of
one
the things
specializes in
could
mobility,
kill you because
so
of
it
the
makes
wind-up
sense that you would
time.
have some more.
Yeah.
Wave of Frost is one of our new attacks with a retreat built right in. You move backwards and throw out a cold attack with a significant freeze. A good thing
Freeze!
about this is that it puts you at a good distance to follow up with a Glacial Cascade and do a whole pile of damage.
Hey, cold penetration. I can already see some people. This is not the PoE I know. This looks so much slower. It's like, dude, this is leveling. Calm down. That's what we call leveling. Man, he gets some damage in. Doesn't seem to have mana issues though. Like the mana rack on the monk seems to be
Another skill you can use to get some extra freeze
pretty
is
good.
Shattering Palm. Shattering Palm is a palm strike that puts a small ice bomb on the target. Kill or deal enough damage to the target and the bomb will explode.
Oh,
Doing
that's
some
cool.
damage and a significant freeze. It's a great option against bosses where the wave of ice might not be enough to get that freeze off. But you really want to get, but you still really want to use Glacial Cascade to get the damage bonus.
That's a cool build. I wonder, like again, it's PoE, right? So
The final skill we're
technically,
going to show you today is Flicker Strike. It's a monk skill.
Warriors-
Another skill that consumes power charges.
could also do this, right? In the end.
If you've played PoE1 before, you know what to expect.
Yep.
It's a great finisher for tough boss fights if you were able to get some power charges beforehand.
Oh yeah, how do you get power charges in boss fights? When there are no ads. I'm curious about that. Whoa.
Here we
Oh.
have Blackjaw, former overseer of the Meccan area.
Okay.
When the Vaal fell, he was turned to stone and now guards the area.
Oh, is
In order
that
to
a...
take down this boss, we're going to need all the tools on the monk's
Do
arsenal,
you see
especially
that?
the combo of freeze and glacial cascade.
Under the health bar, there is
Now,
a
if you're a
small
PoE1 player,
flame.
you might think you can't rely on freeze because there's so many bosses that are immune to it. But in PoE2, that's changing significantly. In PoE1, freeze is a binary mechanic. An attack freezes the target, or it doesn't. What this basically means is that in PoE1, we were forced to add freeze immunity to many bosses because freeze just trivialized them. Because of that, freezing was something you could only really rely on while pack clearing, and not something you could use as a core part of your build for boss fighting. In
I love
PoE2,
that they're
though,
changing
all crowd
that.
control mechanics now have internal meters that allow you to build up to a freeze or stun, or whatever other CC mechanic that you're using.
Nice.
Poise from games like Elden Ring, though the meters tend to be a lot smaller than those games. When you freeze
Or
an enemy, it
Lost
increases
Ark,
the amount of
or
freeze you need to do to get
Diablo.
another freeze. But the increased difficulty bleeds away slowly. More freeze will always let you freeze the boss more often, but this system means that you will not get out of control in party play or interact badly with other CC mechanics, allowing us to let these kinds of mechanics actually work against all bosses.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think they're showing that this enemy does fire damage, and you can see it underneath the health bar. I think that's what they're showcasing here. So far, fairly... Oh yeah, there's the stun again. Ooh. I love the animations, man. Oh, this looks so good. Ooh, that's a new tool. Whoa. Oh yeah, you can see like the build up of the crowd control, huh? I love the ghost playing the fiddle. You have died.
Oh, no! All right, let's take two. All right, so this might be a good time to mention that in PoE2, if you die to the boss, you have to start again from the start. There's no boss cheesing.
Oh.
So hang on. Oh, there might be a. Are you okay? Oh, 1 second. One technical issue.
Dev cheats.
Just typing some cheats to. Right, we good? Back to the stream. All right. All right.
Round two.
Let's go.
Whoever balanced that, like, come on.
Skill issue. Yeah, he is now immune. Also, the camera has changed, the layout has changed. This is... why is the layout different? Something is odd here. Like, this is not where you came in. Like, this is not the same camera angle. Oh, he's even like saying his attacks.
Come on, get the freeze.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually like a video they're now playing in the background. Because again, the layout changed. If he would have gone back to the checkpoint, right? I think this is a video and he is just pretending to play right now.
Okay, do the... Oh, nice.
Like, this is what they are playing when they're... Oh well. That's why actual live presentations of those kinds of things are kind of dangerous.
Give me a freeze. Come on. Oh, here we go.
I mean, this is a pretty good boss fight.
Freeze. Oh no! Oh shit! Oh. Come on. No. Get it. They're so good. There you go.
After this.
No. Get him. Okay. All right. Okay, there we go. All right. All right. Second time's the charm. So, Blackjaw has dropped a consumable quest item here called the Flame Core.
Oh.
It's a permanent +10 to Spirit. In PoE2, we really want to make sure that you feel rewarded for exploration.
Damn.
It wouldn't be much good if we made all these awesome optional bosses if we didn't have something great to find for killing them. One of the things you
But
might
other
find
than
for
really
killing bosses is
optional?
permanent stat bonuses for your character.
Well, it's better than finding the Lilith statues.
All right, now because this random area is different, Mark will have to find his way to the exit the hard way.
This is, because I died, this is no longer rehearsed at all.
Oh, okay, so the area actually changes now when you die? Oh. That's interesting. This would take longer than an hour and a half, by the way. If he's continuing this.
This way.
Need to use those killing palms more often, Mark.
Your fate is sealed.
Uh-oh, oh.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, don't maneuver yourself into a corner, man. Rule number 1 in PoE. Well, actually, every ARPG.
My poor heart.
Lightning strike. Oh. I think you got completely lost there.
I have no idea where I am.
By the way, I'm the lead level designer of PoE.
There we go. All right,
I
here we
have
go, here we are. Here's the
absolutely
exit.
no clue what I'm doing here.
I'm gonna die to these sentinels somehow.
All right. Let's go right through. All right. All right. In order to help with the next area, we're going to call in a sorceress. I'd like
Yay!
to welcome Octavian to the stage, who's going to join the party with Mark, so they can play through together. All right, 1 second.
He has to log in with his login.
Here we go. All right. The Sorceress is the new intelligence-focused character.
Ooh, I like the new
While the
portal
Witch
look.
focuses more on occult magic and summoning, the Sorceress is themed around pure elemental destruction. Let's have a look at how she
Nice.
plays.
This is the largest soul core I've ever seen. With this, we could power the canal systems. But it isn't charged.
That's probably a good thing.
There's still energy in this machinarium from its ancient operation. These lines in the stonework should lead to generators. You might need to find some more soul cores to spin them up, but everything looks to be in surprisingly decent condition. Maybe the golems have been maintaining it. In any case, it should still function. We'll have to remove that large core from the wall, of course, but that shouldn't be a problem.
No, absolutely not at
You have
all.
some skills here you're probably going to recognize if you've played PoE1 before, but they feel a bit different now. Spark is
Yes,
great
Alva
at
is still
making
around.
packages as it bounces around.
You can summon her to help you, to tell you what to do. So depending on the NPC,
First target that you hit.
whoa, they would do different
It might be a good idea to use
things.
Ice Nova. It hits all enemies around you and slows them down with a chill. Just be careful. Getting up close and personal isn't the
looks
ideal
amazing.
place for a sorceress to be. She doesn't have the defenses of a more melee-oriented character.
Okay.
In order to help with that, though, you could use Arctic Armor. In PoE2, Arctic Armor is a buff that builds up as you stand still. You can see the ice
looks
crystals forming around the
awesome.
character. They drop off if you walk.
Oh,
When monsters hit you, they take cold damage and build up to a freeze. So it's a great defense. Just be careful. You have to be standing still for a little while to get the full effect, so trying to stutter step using it isn't the best strategy.
oh my god, the ice effect looks
Now,
so
Arctic
good
Armor
with the
is an ongoing
shattering.
buff, but did you notice it didn't reserve any mana? How does that work? Well, we were pretty sick of the fact that in PoE1, basically every character was playing with no mana pool. So we decided to change the way that reservation works. In PoE2, there's a new resource called Spirit. Spirit is a dedicated resource that you can use for ongoing effects like Arctic Armor, Heralds, Auras, and Minions.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
everyone starts with 100 spirit, which is enough for most ongoing effects. But if you want more, you're going to need to get some more spirit, which is available on mods from items and on the passive tree. But if you're willing to give up your offhand slot, the easiest way to get it is by holding a scepter. Find out more about that in the items talk later on.
Ooh.
Now, if you want to increase the cold damage that you're dealing, you can always use Frost Bomb. It places a bomb on the ground that reduces enemies' cold resistance while it's ticking down.
Oh, yeah, I remember that
Great
from
opportunity to use
PoE1,
some
right?
Cold skills before it explodes. And speaking of cold skills, a great skill to use on monsters with lower cold resistance is Comet. This is a new skill in PoE2 and it hits pretty damn hard. It costs a lot of mana and has a really long cast time, but it's worth the wait. It does a devastating amount of damage. To help you out of danger, your character moves back slightly as it casts. It's pretty hard to hit fast-moving opponents, but it's great on tougher enemies that stand still, or even a larger pack if you're further away and can predict where they're going to move.
Okay, that is doable.
Now, if you run out of mana casting too many of those, I guess in an emergency you could use your free-to-cast Fireball. So where did that come from, you ask? Well, this is a great opportunity to explain the way that we've changed caster weapons in PoE2. Now, in PoE1, caster weapons had a default melee attack that nobody used. They had that, they also had a bunch of attack mods that would spawn in them that were useless to a caster. In PoE2, we wanted to clean that up. So each staff now comes with a built-in free-to-cast spell.
Wow. That's amazing.
Just put it on and spam away to your heart's content. Now, this particular staff is the base type that you'll get right on the starting beach, so it's quite likely that you'll have outgrown it by now. So that's why we've also made a lot of staves with more utility-focused powers for casters to use. Here we have a crystal staff. It has a pretty cool built-in spell called Unleash. Using it slams your staff on the ground and will allow you to triple cast whatever you cast with your next spell. Now, of course, what you're probably going to want to use with that is something powerful, and Comet is a great option.
Wow! That's amazing. Also,
you'll notice that Unleash is one of the few skills in PoE2
did I just saw the gold in the inventory?
Feeling that combat is just waiting to cast your next spell. But it does make sense for Unleash since it's free to cast, and it's something we want you to use situationally anyway.
I saw the gold in my inventory.
If you're facing something tough, you might need to try out Mana Tempest. Mana Tempest creates a circle of power which your character literally hovers over the ground. While in the circle, your mana drains, but it powers up all your spells. Lightning projectiles will fork, beams will chain further, and you also do a lot more damage.
Yo, what? That's like Black Mage right here. Stand in your little circle of power and don't move. Yeah, I definitely saw the gold in the inventory. 100%. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. Also, wait a minute. I saw gold?
So, with all of these skills, here's a
Why didn't I notice that before?
First, cast Frost Bomb to reduce the target's cold resistance.
I saw gold?
To increase your damage. Follow up with Unleash, and then triple cast Comet to do a truly insane amount of damage.
That's amazing. I just realized that there was gold on the ground, and I saw it the whole time, but my brain was not recognizing it because from playing too much Diablo.
These ghosts.
Right? For playing too much Diablo, I was just like, oh yeah, gold.
This rare monster has dropped an uncut gem.
Gold.
And that's a great opportunity to talk about how skill gems drop in PoE2. Instead of dropping specific gems, you can find uncut gems. Just right-click on them and pick whatever skill you want.
Wait, what?
Ignore the, whoops.
Oh, that is amazing.
The gem will come pre-leveled to the level of the area that dropped it. So it's a lot easier to change between skills in PoE2.
That's so amazing.
This time, I think it might be cool to grab one of our meta gems. Meta gems are skills that can have other skills socketed into them, changing how they work. In this case, we're going to select Cast on Shock.
Are we have no
now,
gems.
Let's put this on the skill screen and choose which spell to trigger with it.
Oh yeah, this is a new thing. Yeah.
Now, because Cast on Shock reserves Spirit, we'll need to first disable our Arctic Armor. We have to decide if we'd rather have the extra defense or the extra offense of the Cast on Shock.
Offense?
In PoE2, trigger gems use a system of filling up cast time on each trigger. Basically, if a skill has a short cast time, it will trigger really often. And if it has a long cast time, like this Comet here, it will take a lot longer to trigger. You can see on the top left corner that there's a counter that shows you how long until the next trigger.
Oh, that's cool.
Hopefully he shocks the monsters. There we go.
Oh,
There you
that's
have it. That's using Cast on
cool.
Shock. We've automatically cast Comment whenever we're using our lightning skills.
That is so cool.
So, we found the generator. Time to power it up.
Yeah, nothing can go wrong here, right?
As power is restored to the Mechanarium, all the constructs are coming back to life. We're going to fight them on the way back to the charged Soul Core.
That's cool.
So, one thing that PoE1 players might have noticed is this character has both lightning spells and cold spells. That's pretty inefficient, right? It's a big no-no for most builds because any specialization into cold or lightning isn't going to affect the other element.
Yes.
And generic elemental damage increases are not going to be as powerful as focusing on a single element. Well, in PoE2 we have another major new system to introduce to solve these kinds of problems.
Sorry.
And it starts, oddly enough, with weapon
Put money.
swap.
Oh.
Now, in PoE1, weapon swap isn't really used much for its originally intended purpose. We imagine that people were going to be swapping in and out between different weapons to deal with whatever situation they were in. People just don't do that at all. And a large reason for that is because it's really, really awkward. In PoE2, we wanted to solve all of that. The staff Octavian is using here has an ice mod on it that makes it great for when he's using his ice spells. But we would also like to be able to make sure that this build works just as well for his lightning spells. If Octavian equips his previous staff in his second weapon set, you can see that it appears on the character's back. Now, we're going to open up the skill screen. If Octavian opens the skill options for his lightning skills, you can see here that you can choose which weapon sets are usable with each skill.
Wow.
We uncheck set 1 for being used by his lightning skills. Then we go through the cold skills and turn
That's
those on for his
amazing.
lightning weapon. Just take a second.
It's
I
like,
can remember where they all are.
I hate to say this, I know people will hate it.
When we use
It's
Spark,
like Diablo
the character will
4
automatically switch to the lightning staff on his back
bomb.
and then use the skill.
with their
And when
weapon
Octavian uses
swaps.
Ice Nova, his character automatically switches to his ice staff. before
Oh,
using
that's
it.
so good, man. Yeah, it's like Diablo 4, right? When the bomb, where you can choose like which skill is using which weapon set to make it
You can configure
visible.
each skill for which set to use, or both if you don't mind which. There's a very short time penalty to switching, so it can be good to leave some skills on both sets if it doesn't matter which weapon set you're using. But we still have a problem, passives. Wouldn't it be nice if we could specialize in both cold and lightning passives on the character? Well, in PoE2 you can. Hopefully Mark can deal with those monsters while we do this demo. So, we're on the passive skill screen here, and you can see that we are close to both a cold and a lightning cluster. At the top right of the screen, you can see that we have some weapon set specific points to allocate. If Octavian holds shift, he can allocate set 1 to the cold passives, and then allocate set 2 to the lightning passives.
My brain is slowly knocking at my door and is like, dude, this is
Check
too
it
much
out.
for you. This is
As
too
we
much.
use our weapon swap, the skills allocate changes from one build to the other automatically. So whenever we cast the appropriate spell, the character's passives reconfigure on the fly to the correct build for that spell. Now you can't do this with every single passive on your tree. Only points granted from skill books will allow this kind of dual specialization. So you're not going to be changing from a mace slamming warrior into a fire elementalist with the press of a button. But it certainly increases the number of options you have for builds. There's a huge number of places where the system can shine. You can augment your dagger shadow build with traps, or have a great curse set up on your witch with one spec, and then move to your chaos debuff spells with the other, for example. It really opens up your options. Now another fun metagem to try out is called Barrier Invocation. This works a little bit like the trigger gems I talked about before, but this one charges up as your energy shield is hit by monsters. We're going to put an Ice Nova in this one. The more energy shield you lose, the more charge builds up. We'll just get that one equipped there, yeah. So yeah, the more energy shield you lose, the more charge will build up, until the point you're able to cast the socketed skill instantly.
Oh.
There we go. So you lose some energy shield, and at just the right time, invoke Ice Nova to cast all the stacked up copies in one instant cast.
Wow.
If you keep losing shield, you'll build up even more charge for even more casts. So it's a great defensive option in an emergency.
I need a guide for this presentation. Where do I find a guide? Is Ziggy D's video already up? Steel Mage, anybody? Can I just go to YouTube and somebody is explaining this to me in dumb words?
And here we are back at the Charged Soul Core. All we have to do now is take it.
Yeah. Right.
Just take it.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Don't die this time, guys.
That's a lot of lasers.
Frozen? Nice.
Why are we not getting sharks with lasers? Why only snakes?
Oh god. Frozen, no.
Frozen, nice.
Oh my god, the Frozen will save your ass. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, crowd control is now becoming the new hotness in PoE2. Because it's so powerful.
He's
Stunned.
He's stunned a lot. Oh boy.
Frozen?
Yeah. That's a... they will probably fix that a bit. It's a bit too much.
Frozen again.
Getting real lucky with those freeze procs this time.
All skill.
I mean, you have two classes with freezing, right? So...
Nice. Frozen. Jump it away.
oh my god, that's amazing.
Get away from him. Get away. Get away. Triangle.
What?
Oh. Oh. Charlie. Nice.
That was cool.
So that's Path of Exile 2. These areas, as well as around half of each of the first 4 acts, are available to play at the 3 demo zones around Exilecon.
Oh.
Now, if you're physically here at this event and you get to play the demo, just remember, it's a different game than before. It's a lot harder. You're probably going to run the first pack of monsters and just die. I really recommend you read the signs. They have good advice on how to combine your skills effectively, and remember, dodge rolls on spacebar. Use it. You're just going to die otherwise. So your next question is likely to be, when is the beta? Well, we're in our last year of development, but we're still finishing acts, adding skills, and balancing everything. The closed beta is going to start on June 7th, 2024.
Oh.
Path of Exile 2 has been a long time coming, and we're incredibly excited to be near the finish line, but we're just not quite there yet. We're determined not to rush this and make sure we get everything right. In the meantime, there's a lot in store for PoE1. I'll hand back over to Chris, and he's going to talk about what's coming up.
A year after Diablo 4. Wow. I did not expect that. I did not expect June. That's a long time, man.
So that demo is very hard for them to do in person. Like, I am very impressed it went that well. So, as Jonathan explained, Path of Exile 1 will continue to be its own unique game once Path of Exile 2 comes out. We will continue to update it with expansions and leagues going forward. And because accounts and microtransactions are shared between the two games, and their expansion releases are offset from each other, it's super easy to jump between them and effectively play both if you want. So I'm going off script for a second here and just going to explain this a bit better. Imagine we release a Path of Exile 2 expansion, right? So everyone dives in and plays it. You give it, say, out of a 13-week cycle, you're going to play for, some hardcore players play for the first few weeks, some people play for most of the time. We're going to aim a Path of Exile 1 expansion to come out towards the end of that cycle, say 4 or 5 weeks from the end, which also lasts for 3 months. So because Path of Exile 2 has more content and is a significantly larger game, it will mean that you can play Path of Exile 2 for the majority of the cycle, and then either keep playing if you want to keep playing Path of Exile 2, or jump into Path of Exile 1 when its League launches and enjoy that, either for the entire period or until the next Path of Exile 2 one comes out. And of course,
that's one way to keep people just playing PoE.
Or microtransactions in either, they're just available on your characters in the other. Speaking of Path of Exile 1 expansions, we've got one coming out in just 3 weeks, on August 18th.
Is it already that time?
Path of Exile, Trial of the Ancestors.
Souls such as yours do not go quietly into the night.
Oh, it's her.
They thirst for battle. They yearn to prove themselves. Welcome to the halls of the dead. Earn your place among us.
What?
Under Hinikora's watchful eye.
That
test
looks
your mettle
amazing.
against the greatest warriors who ever lived.
I have to admit, after I saw PoE2, why is there a turtle there? So it's like a big PvE arena? Wait, it's an auto battler? Oh, fudge. It's an auto battler.
In the end, only one can
But I will
become
not play the story again.
Will it be you?
Looks also August 18th. I will not. Sorry, I have to play the story and I won't.
In the Karui Afterlife, the fallen chieftains of each tribe participate in a tournament called the Trial of the Ancestors. You will journey to the afterlife, assemble your own team, and enter the tournament to battle those chieftains and earn valuable rewards. As you play through areas in the Ancestor Challenge League, you'll find tradable silver coins. Using them will take you to the Karui Afterlife, where you will encounter Navali, who you may remember from the Prophecy League.
Yes.
Each coin allows you to play a match of the tournament. You start the tournament with a basic team consisting of 3 warriors. The tournament is double elimination, meaning you're allowed to have 1 loss without consequence. A second loss eliminates you from the tournament. Your team will compete against 10 other tribes, and you choose who you're going to challenge next out of the teams left in the tournament.
Wow.
When you start a match, you see the configuration of the enemy team and get to place your team of warriors on the battlefield to challenge
Oh,
theirs.
it's like an auto...
You and your party of exiles will play alongside your warriors. So while this league does have many elements of an auto battler, you're right there fighting alongside them.
That's cool.
During a match, when a warrior dies, they respawn at their totem after a short time. If their totem is destroyed, then they are instantly killed and can't respawn. The team that destroys all of the opposing totems wins. If you're playing a hardcore character though, don't worry. Hinokora, the goddess of death, is watching over you and will restore your soul to your body, so you can't permanently die in the afterlife.
That makes kind of sense.
In the Trial of the Ancestors, strategy and tactics are key.
This is
Every unit has
amazing,
its own
but
strengths and
I
weaknesses
don't
that
want
must
to
be
play
utilized
the
to win
PoE
matches.
story, man.
The turtle is really slow and really tanky. It's perfect for either defensive positioning to stop flankers or offensive positioning to tank hits for you if you're pushing through the middle. It's not great in the
Like, why not
center or
just go
flank
for the
positions
totem?
due to its slow movement speed.
That was my thought as well.
Tuatara is a quick and deceptive unit, which is relatively well balanced for all positions. This version of the Tuatara has a stealth ability, which makes it perfect
There must
for
be a
flanking
catch.
position to sneak through enemy
There must be a
defenses
catch,
and
man.
take out unprotected totems from the side. The Goliath of Night is a disruptor unit, and it's ideally placed in a center position to intercept enemies that are chasing
There
you.
must
You can
be a
also allocate
catch.
it to defenses so that it disrupts enemies that
It
are
would
trying
be
to
too
kill your
easy.
totems by stunning them. So in this match here, we've set up a Tuatara in a flanking position, a turtle on defense to guard our totems, and a Goliath to follow us as we attack up the middle.
Okay.
The plan is to work with the Goliath to distract the enemy front line so the flanking Tuatara can get through and destroy some of their totems.
Oh, there are multiple totems. That's the idea. That's the idea. Okay.
Teamwork. Upon winning a match, you earn favor and other rewards. I'll talk about the other rewards shortly. There are a lot. You have a separate amount of favor with each tribe, and you can spend it by talking to their chieftain to recruit warriors and purchase field items and equipment that your team can use.
Ooh.
Each tribe has specific specialities. For example,
This
Hinakora's
man,
tribe manipulates
this
life and
MTX
death.
looks amazing.
Rogokurai's tribe is slow and tanky, with an emphasis on stuns and knockbacks. You can recruit warriors from many different tribes and mix and match them together into your team based on what you need.
I would just
Field
play this the
items
whole
are
time
items that are placed on the battlefield and can be
if I
activated
wouldn't need to
during the
play
match
through the
to,
story
for
campaign.
example, revive a warrior.
I'm
or
sorry if
your
I'm
entire
repeating
team.
this and people are just
If
like,
a
yeah,
field
we get
item
it, you
isn't
don't want the
consumed
story.
within a match, it persists
It's
on
such
to
a
the
huge
next
thing
match.
to me,
But your warriors,
unfortunately.
their equipment, and your field items are all wiped between tournaments. You enter each tournament fresh.
Oh,
Your
okay.
success in a tournament updates your overall ranking, which helps you earn better rewards in subsequent ones. Speaking of rewards, let's discuss the good part, what you can earn for succeeding at the trial of the
This looks fun.
This gets me excited. Okay. You get a reward as you win each round of the tournament, and these rewards are visible when you're selecting which tribe you want to play against. They'll help inform your decision, as some of them are regular rewards and some of them are exclusive new rewards you can only get from the Trial of the Ancestors. I'm literally tripping over my words to get to the part where I can explain tattoos. Okay. The Ancestors reward you with special tattoos that are not applied to your skin, but they're engraved on your soul. This process can transform what your attribute skills on the passive tree do, basically the attribute highway nodes generally. The regular ones can only be applied to basic attribute skills and allow you to convert your tree's attribute highways into something more useful for you. For example, this one converts a small dexterity skill into movement speed. Each tribe has its own exclusive passive tattoos. This tattoo converts a small strength skill into additional fire resistance. This one converts a small intelligence skill into additional lightning damage. And this one converts a small strength skill into one that summons a minion when you take a savage hit from a unique enemy. But don't go overboard on the number of skills you convert with tattoos, as you'll probably need at least some of your attributes left to equip items. Each of the 10 tribes has an exclusive unique item that you can earn. These rarely show up as rewards for defeating that tribe in a match. Katava's Hunger is a unique majestic plate that you can earn by defeating the Katava tribe. As you can see, it grants an immense amount of life for a single item,
Yeah, holy
providing
shit.
you don't have any life on any other pieces of your equipment. While this is tricky to accomplish, it also frees up all those other potential life slots to be something else that benefits your build, making it pure upside. This amulet is a unique item you can earn by defeating the Arohongui tribe. It has the powerful effect of causing your flasks to instantly recover life and mana whenever you're low. This could potentially be a powerful panic button, or maybe you want to build around permanently being on low life or mana, so all of your flask usage is instant. If you manage to win the entire tournament, you'll not only receive the reward for the final match, but Hinokora will also give you a choice of 3 additional... button didn't work. Of 3 additional exclusive items. Let's have a look at some of the things you may be offered. First up, there are 4 unique items that exclusively come from Hinokora for completing the tournament. This belt, for example, lists a plethora of really powerful properties, both beneficial and detrimental. While you're wearing the belt, the property shifts around every 5 seconds. You never know what's going to happen next. Will you always crit, always evade, never evade? Maybe you're able to find some ways to build around
this is
just create as much upside as possible. Hinokora also has a selection of special more advanced passive tree tattoos that you can only receive from her. This one transforms a 30 intelligence notable attribute skill into one that increases the level of all of your intelligence gems. You're only allowed one copy of the specific attribute combination tattoo on a tree. Hinekora can also award you with a new type of item called an omen. These are small items that sit in your inventory until a condition is met, at which point they are consumed and something happens. In this case, when you reach 25% life, your flasks are all replenished. Now don't worry, each player can only consume one omen per combat area, so you don't have any reason to fill your entire inventory with them. This one creates a portal on death. We made it for me.
And
it
for
won't
me.
try to save your life, but it will save you some time. This one grants you Soul Eater when you level up. It's definitely worth carrying around for that occasional massive power boost. Omens are tradable but hard to get, so use them carefully. I shudder to think about how much this one is going to be worth in the presence of those incredibly rare unique weapons from 320. Now note, going off script again here, back in the day, when we had stuff like the Prophecy and so on that let you upgrade to rare forcibly on a specific base type, we had to block the good items by putting crap uniques on the, sorry, I meant upgrade to unique. We put crap uniques on that base type so that you couldn't get it every time. Well, we stopped doing that, so a lot of the uniques that were upgraded in 320 are just the only thing on the base type. So items like this let you deterministically get something quite valuable, hence they are quite rare. The most exciting one, though. Finally, Hinekora can offer you a lock of her hair. This is a very special currency item that lets you foresee the result of using another currency item to craft something. This means, for example, you can know whether it's worth exalting your item because you'll know exactly what the outcome is. Hinekora's lock will slot into your crafting pipeline with powerful consequences. The Trial of the Ancestors offers a wide selection of valuable new rewards as you complete matches and tournaments. We really look forward to seeing what strategies you develop for building, equipping, carefully placing, and playing alongside your tribe. So that's the new Challenge League, but Path of Exile expansions contain more than just a new league every 3 months. In each update, we also augment Path of Exile's endgame and shape the
really
metagame
cool
with new gems and balance changes. This expansion is no exception. I'm going to explain the other changes in a medium amount of detail. I'm conscious that we have both new and existing players. For new players, I'm going to try to include some extra content to help make the changes more understandable. You can find out all the detail in the patch notes and other information we'll be posting in the few weeks before release. Let's start with how the Trial of the Ancestors expansion expands Path of Exile's endgame. In December last year, we released an expansion called The Forbidden Sanctum, which introduced the Sanctum Challenge League. This league was a roguelike game set within Path of Exile where you would randomly explore a randomly generated sanctum one room at a time, alongside your regular play. You'd pick which rooms you wanted to explore out of several options and accumulate beneficial boons and detrimental afflictions that made your run easier and harder, respectively. Not only did Sanctum work really well as a league, but it also had the potential to be added to Path of Exile as part of its core endgame content, alongside systems like mapping, delve, and heist. Well, in this expansion, the Forbidden Sanctum is back.
Cool. And I still have to play the Okay, stop. I stop.
I've really been looking forward to this one. We're reintroducing the Sanctum as core content in Path of Exile's endgame. You'll initially meet Divinia, the Sanctum NPC, in Act 10. Sanctums are now tradable items that you can find while playing maps in the endgame. A forbidden tome represents a whole floor of the Sanctum, and its rooms can be played back-to-back, or you can take breaks between them and do something else if you choose. Upon successfully completing that Sanctum floor, the next floor is generated as a tradable item with all of the state of your Sanctum run built in. This means that the item stores what boons and afflictions you had, what rewards you've locked in, and how much resolve you have left. You can then either play this floor or trade it to someone else if it feels more beneficial. For example, let's say you manage to lock in a really valuable reward. The example here is a Mirror of Calandra, but you'll also notice that... Do I have a laser pointer? It doesn't work on the board. Okay, 1 resolve. This is an example here where the player has a very good reward locked in, but a massive pile of dangerous afflictions and only 1 resolve on them. If you don't feel capable of completing the rest of the Sanctum from this point, then it would normally be a write-off, right? If you gave this to me, no way am I getting that mirror. But you can now trade the Sanctum state to someone else who is willing to pay for the chance to earn the mirror, or lose it. And you can look at expected value in economics, right? It's worth some percentage of that mirror. So you trade it for like 5 chaos to someone, they run it and lose their chaos. Your relics, which act as passive bonuses within the Sanctum, are locked in for the run when you start the first floor and can't be changed for the rest of the run. Speaking of relics, they're now tradable and have been rebalanced around this.
Oh boy.
To those of you wondering, we have decided against bringing back sanctified relics for now. A complete Sanctum run now requires killing the final boss, Lycia, in both her first and second form. She will always drop a unique relic, and these have been reworked and replaced as we rebalanced everything. An important aspect of the new Sanctum balance is that your primary defenses now have some effect on protecting your resolve. Your armor allows you to mitigate resolve loss, and your evasion grants you a chance to avoid resolve loss entirely, a lot like how armor and evasion work. Your energy shield grants you resolve Aegis, which is a mechanic that works similarly to how energy shield behaves for life. In light of the new defensive opportunities and learnings from the original Challenge League, we've rebalanced the difficulty of Sanctum, especially in later floors, and have worked to add more monster and room variety to runs.
Cool.
We've added new boons and afflictions themed around the new defensive mechanics and have rebalanced many of the other ones. Like other optional endgame systems that involve tradable items, players who don't want to play Sanctum can trade their Sanctums to other players in exchange for an item or currency that benefits them more. Successful Sanctum play can generate a lot of rewards. It'll potentially be possible to build characters dedicated to Sanctum running and just farm Sanctums repeatedly.
That's another thing I
Sanctum isn't
never
the
liked
only
about PoE
improvement
is
that Trial
trading.
of the Ancestors
I don't like
brings to
trading.
Path of Exile's endgame.
I did
We're
trading a
also
lot in
introducing
D2
16 new Atlas passives
on a daily basis.
Atlas Keystone passives to the Atlas passive tree.
Now I'm just like, meh.
As a quick summary for new players joining us, the Atlas tree is a system that allows you to customize your endgame experience in
And
Path
go
of
even
Exile.
more crazy when
As
you look at it.
As you complete different maps, you gain skill points that can be allocated in the tree. You could use these points to modify the behavior of different content you encounter in in-game maps to make it more difficult or more rewarding, or to behave entirely differently. The system allows you to double down on the content you enjoy and avoid content you don't. Keystones are really impactful passives that totally change how endgame systems behave. Usually they have an element of give and take and require you to
Somebody
come up with new
give them
strategies
water.
to take advantage of them. Each of these 16 new Atlas Keystones changes how you might interact with Path of Exile's endgame. Let's have a look at some of them now. We will reveal the rest of them before the release of Trial of the Ancestors in a few weeks. Extreme Archaeology completely changes how you play expedition encounters. Instead of placing a series of regular explosives, you now place one gigantic explosive. Every single chest or monster in the blast radius is affected by every remnant in that radius.
Sure. Mega bomb. The biggest
Speaker
one.
of the Dead makes it so that tormented spirits can possess you rather than possessing monsters. Boosting your stats instead. While possessed, you can touch monsters just like a spirit can, making them stronger and more rewarding. It's kind of getting silly at this point, isn't it? Blight is like a tower defense minigame inside Path of Exile. The Cassia's Pride Keystone makes it so that Blight monsters take significantly less damage from players and significantly more damage from Blight towers. This basically lets you go all in playing it like an actual tower defense game. Because we can. Lucid Dreams makes it so that Val side areas in your maps are no longer corrupted, meaning that you can use currency items to change their mods. That's right, when you encounter a Val side area, the Keystone lets you craft it.
This is so stupid.
Yeah,
I love it.
We rebalanced the side area mods, we've improved reward outcomes, and we've made the downside mods a bit more punishing, you know, just to make it interesting if you try to go for the good outcomes. You may also rarely encounter a unique Val side area. Destructive play makes it so that the Maven will summon between 1 and 3 extra random map bosses when you are fighting witnessed map bosses. This keystone is analogous to the Eldritch Altar keystones that make those influences more difficult but more rewarding. There are another 11 new keystones that we'll reveal over the next few weeks. Together, these 16 keystones mean that regardless of how you enjoy your maps, you'll have plenty of new ways to play Path of Exile's endgame in this expansion. And I should note, in the initial draft of the Keynote, I painstakingly went through every single keystone. It took like 10 minutes. But we'll put them in the news to save you some time here. In the Trial of the Ancestors expansion, we're shifting Path of Exile's metagame in several ways. The first is by introducing 14 new support gems, which are designed to take existing categories of skills and provide entirely new ways to play them. For full information, check the final gem hovers when we post them in the next few weeks. Let's have a look at a handful of these support gems now. In Path of Exile, war cries usually buff your party but don't directly hurt monsters. The Corrupting Cry support gem turns war cries into damage-dealing skills by making them inflict corrupted blood on monsters affected by the war cry or by your attacks that it exerts.
A war cry build.
The Returning Projectiles support gem causes projectiles from supported skills to return to you, piercing all targets but dealing a little less damage.
Oh my god. That's amazing.
I think there's another example too.
That's pretty...
The Fresh Meat support gem causes minions created by supported gems to gain adrenaline, critical strike chance, and critical strike damage for a duration after they're first summoned. So you've got to work out a way to keep refreshing your minions, and it makes them a lot more powerful. The Flamewood support gem causes totems to trigger projectile mortars at enemies that hit them. This is particularly synergistic with totems that can taunt enemies, such as Decoy Totem,
oh, that's
or one
cool.
of the new Chieftain Ascendancy skills that I might talk about shortly. The Sacrifice support gem works on spells that you either cast yourself or through totems. These spells now sacrifice a percentage of your current life or the totem's life to gain additional chaos damage based on how much life was sacrificed.
Huh.
The Frigid Bond support gem affects link skills and causes a cold mist to come over them. Enemies caught in the beam are chilled and dealt cold damage over time. This creates a new tool for a cold damage over time build, requiring strategic placement of both yourself and your linked ally. I mentioned it was going to get silly. The Locust Mine support gem looks OP and affects attack skills that use bows and wands. Instead of directly using the supported skill, you throw mines in an arc that use that skill for you, targeting your location when you detonate them. In addition to these gems, there are another 7 that we'll be revealing over the next few weeks.
Yeah, there would be a build about that one.
Gems, our balance work for the Trial of the Ancestors involved us revamping 2 Ascendancy classes. These are the subclasses that you can specialize in as you play through Path of Exile's campaign.
Yeah, we know that.
Each main character class has 3 Ascendancy classes
so.
available. In the last expansion, Crucible, we overhaul the Pathfinder and Saboteur. This time, it's the Guardian and Chieftain, which are specializations of the Templar and Marauder, respectively. While we were very happy with the theme of the Guardian, it was falling behind the power level and popularity of other Ascendancy classes. Our changes in this expansion have modernized the class and will present you with more relevant build opportunities than before.
Cool.
Brace yourself. Okay. Path of Exile 102. Harmony of Purpose can power up parties using link skills. Time of Need now completely cleanses and heals you every 4 seconds. Radiant and Unwavering Crusade both fully embrace the Holy Summoner theme by giving you access to some exciting new types of minions that are exclusive to this Ascendancy class.
Oh,
we have this picture on the announcement page, pathofexile.com/ancestor for you to scrutinize. Next. While the Guardian's revamp was similar to that of the Pathfinder, the Chieftain has received the Saboteur treatment. To be honest, we were unhappy about many aspects of this Ascendancy class in its old form, and so we have completely redesigned it. You can play it now. It's basically an entirely new Ascendancy class with the same name and art and a new way of approaching its themes.
Interesting.
Its new skills let you, among other things, cause enemies to explode, turn off enemies' fire resistance while you're stationary, convert passive skills to apply to fire damage, and have your fire resistances apply to your cold and lightning resistances. I'll just give you a sec more to read. All right, that's on the site too for you to check out. It's pretty powerful now. To celebrate the release of the Trial of the Ancestors, we'll be hosting a boss kill event. To enter, create a hardcore solo self-found character in the Ancestor League and race to kill all 7 Uber Pinnacle bosses on the same character. Note that unlike the last event we ran, this one is not a ruthless event. We'll post more information about the event and its prizes in the news before release. Best of luck to everyone.
Nope.
For the Ancestor Challenge League, we're launching 2 new series of support packs,
the right one.
Shade and Disciple packs. Each tier contains
The
the
Disciple
full
looks great.
face value and points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions.
Like with the stained glass.
These packs are only available for the duration of the Ancestor League, and will leave the store forever when it ends. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect the character's power or progression in any way, despite how cool they look. The
Well,
Shade
you
series
say
of supporter
that.
packs contain 6 exclusive microtransactions.
What?
All right.
That looks amazing.
The sarcophagus back attachment imprisons an unspeakable evil that struggles to break free. Nearby monsters send it into a frenzy, and enemy deaths provide it with souls to feast upon.
Wait,
The
what?
Stygian Waypoint shackles visitors to your hideout in chains, yourself included. These chains are just cosmetic, though, and they break as soon as you move. It would supposedly be a gameplay advantage to be able to imprison people. The Ferryman's armor set is so full of trapped souls that some of them try to escape. Moving while wearing the boots will leave souls in your wake trying to break free.
That's cool.
The Infernal Portal opens a gate to the Netherrealm when you approach. This prompted a lot of internal discussion about whether using Hellfire to heat your hideout is actually safe and practical. The Demon-bound crafting bench allows you to enslave a malevolent entity to craft items for you. Be warned, it has a sharp tongue and will mock you mercilessly.
You chained me for such a paltry use.
The Nebula character effect causes items you pick up to orbit you in an ethereal cloud of loot.
What? Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
The Disciple series of supporter packs also contain 6 exclusive microtransactions. Look at dog.
Look at that.
I'm going to put that in the top pack. The Hero's Landing Finisher effect summons a marble statue from the heavens to execute unique monsters you defeat. You decide whether it's the sword or the huge lump of rock that actually kills them. The Bell Tower map device heralds the opening of a new map with a peal of bells. Start to run out of portals, though, and it will reflect your desperate situation.
Oh. Well,
This
that's
is fine.
very unfortunate.
The Cathedral armor set
Oh my
refracts light through your character, creating beautiful patterns on the ground around it.
This is
If your life
amazing.
gets low, it responds in kind.
Yo.
The Observer Diamond Flask summons a tentacled mass that fires its eye lasers at enemies you critically strike while the flask is active. Again, cosmetic. The Currency Orb Charge effect lets you pick from a number of different currency types to replace your charges with, as long as you've used that currency item anytime from today onwards. Some people... We have to store it in the database, right? Some people will show they can be part of the exclusive club of players who have actually used a Mirror of Calandra. This effect also causes your charges to display in town. So the theory is you go use your standard mirror, which we all have, right?
Right? I have at least 5 of them in my
Hound Pet is a
inventory.
very good doggo, and it knows a few tricks. You can command it to sit, roll over, or play dead. And yes, you can pet the dog.
Nice.
These new packs are available right now at pathofexile.com/purchase, and purchases like these directly fund the ongoing development of Path of Exile 1 and 2.
And drain your bank
The
account.
Lithomancer and Enchanter packs leave the store forever at the launch of Trial of the Ancestors, so now's your last chance to purchase them. There's some good stuff in those too. Thanks for your continued support. The fun part. For the last ExileCon, we developed a special card game that encapsulated the full gameplay arc of Path of Exile over the course of the event. Players could
Even
defeat
though
monsters,
we are
progressively
at the
upgrade
end
their
of
items,
time,
use currency items to craft their equipment,
I think we
find
will
and
go
run
over
maps,
time,
eventually defeat pinnacle bosses
and we
to
will have a
earn
look
rewards. It was a whole lot of fun,
at
and we've had so
Path
many
of Exile
requests to run
mobile
it
here in
again.
a minute.
So this year, we're proud to bring
And I'm
you the
actually kind of
2023
curious about
version of the
PoE
Exile
mobile,
card game. And like
because
all Path of Exile
it
expansions
allows
that
you
can
to
include the
skip
Challenge League. In your swag
the
bags,
leveling.
you'll have found a box of ExileCon cards, and then a gentleman outside will have asked to purchase them from you for real money. If you have any cards left, you can use these to challenge GGG staff members who are walking around ExileCon as monsters. They'll be wearing t-shirts showing the monster's stats, which include symbols for their attack and defense. Using the cards in your deck box and those you accumulate by defeating monsters, put together one set of armor, one weapon and shield, or a two-handed weapon, and an amulet and 2 rings. To defeat a monster, the damage on your weapon has to be equal to or larger than the defense of the monster, and the defense on the armor and shield have to be equal to or larger than the attack of the monster. It's that simple. There are some wildcard symbols. It's explained on the rules in the box. Rings and amulets are pretty hard to find, and they can be used for either attack or defense. So to attack a monster, politely approach a staff member wearing the shirt, introduce yourself, and show them the set of equipment you want to use. If your symbols match, then you'll have defeated them, and they'll give you a reward and remove some of the durability from your items. They do this by clicking the card, so if you want to keep the card pristine, don't necessarily attack someone with it. It will get damaged in combat. Be careful not to waste your best items on low-level monsters. You're not allowed to attack the same monster twice in a row, so you need to explore Exilecon to find different GGG staff members. You can get maps by defeating monsters marked as gods. Take these maps to the map device to run them and progress through the tiers. On the back of the box is a list of quests. As you complete quests, you can visit the crafting bench on the top floor to receive rewards for completing those quests. While you're there, you can also use your currency items to modify your equipment. I mentioned that this year's version of the card game introduced a challenge league. That league is Delve. Accumulate sulfite and bring it to the Delve wall, sorry for the bad photo, it's hard with lighting, on the middle floor. Each sulfite card you hand in allows you to explore one tile of the azurite mine. You'll all be working collaboratively throughout the event to delve deep into the mine, fight the monsters that lurk there, and uncover its treasures. And I feel really bad for the poor people that had to hang 3,000 cards on that wall.
Yeah, what?
You may eventually be able to challenge the pinnacle bosses if you manage to get really far in the card game. I'm the Searing Exarch, Jonathan is the Eater of Worlds, and Mark is the Maven. Defeating any of the three of us will reward you with a Mirror of Calandra enamel pin. This pin is exclusively available for winning the card game and won't be sold in the merchandise shop. Each person can only receive a maximum of 2 mirrors, and when they run out, we can't give any more out, so try to win the game early. The reason for 2 is a very typical Path of Exile reason, 1 for you and 1 to trade. All right, it's almost time to go and experience Exilecon 2023. Aside from the card game, we've prepared a full weekend of activities for you. There's a busy roster of talks
no mobile
stage and the streamer stage. We've posted a schedule at pathofexile.com/Exilecon, so you can see what.
I would have loved to see a little bit of the mobile game.
The schedule also includes information on meet and greet sessions. Our special guests this year include a roster of many of your favorite streamers, but also some game development industry friends we've met over the last 16 years. We're proud to once again welcome the creators of the Diablo series, David Brevik, Max Schaefer, and Eric Schaefer, as well as Travis Baldry, who you may know from Fate, Torchlight, and his popular fantasy books, or even the books he's narrated. They'll not only have meet and greet sessions, but are also participating in an action RPG roundtable discussion alongside me and Eric tomorrow on the stage. In all of the developer talks and panels, Exilecon attendees will be able to scan a QR code on their phone to submit questions for the speakers to discuss in the panel or on the Q&A section of the talk. The Path of Exile 2 Exilecon demo is a large one, and you may want to play it multiple times this weekend. In each session, you can pick from one of 4 character classes, which start at various points throughout the first 4 acts of Path of Exile 2's campaign. Around half of each act is included in the demo, and your session time is limited to 45 minutes before you have to let someone else have a turn. Remember, as Jonathan said earlier, this demo is hard. Read the signs that explain how your skills combine together. Dodge roll is your new friend. You should also swing by the Path of Exile mobile demo at the channels area on the top floor and check out its progress. It's coming along really well, and we'd love to get your feedback on it.
Oh gosh, I would love to have a look at that.
We've created new Path of Exile merchandise, which is available at our merchandise shop on the middle floor. We've made 17 new t-shirts, which include a few from our community t-shirt design competition.
Oh, that's
We've created a range of 24 enamel pins. You'll have found a random one in your swag bag. If you approach me and I'm wearing a pin, feel free to swap for the one you've got if you'd like. Happy to trade. You can purchase the others in the shop.
That stupid
As
shirt.
mentioned before, there's also the super exclusive Mirror of Calandra pin that is only available to winners of the card game. Maybe you're able to trade for a full set. There are 2 new posters. One is the Atlas passive tree, and the other is the periodic table of currency.
Okay, that's good.
In addition to reprinting the incredibly popular Celestial Cat socks, we've also introduced the Chaos Orb socks, better for business meetings. There's also a range of 4 desk pads to keep your play area tidy. You can check them out at the demo zone.
Damn.
We have a limited range of Exilecon 2019 merchandise available in the store as well. Make sure to head it up early if you want some of this, because stocks of the older items are quite limited. We have plenty of new merchandise for everyone, though, and I think I might have underestimated that. The Exilecon livestream concludes tomorrow with our grand racing finale, where 4 players compete for up to $10,000 and the title of Exilecon 2023 Racing Champion. Afterwards, we're hosting an after party at 8 p.m. at the venue. If you're watching from home, please note that because there are multiple things going on at the same time here, and we can only stream one of them live, we'll be re-streaming 3 of today's talks tomorrow before the event starts. So to be clear, they're occurring here, people can watch them in person, but you can't watch them at that time because we're streaming something else. So we're going to re-stream those tomorrow in the 3 hours where it's way too early to do it in New Zealand, but you can watch them online from the States and Europe.
Okay, makes sense.
This makes sure that everyone is fully up to date on all of the talks that have been announced about Path of Exile 2 before the important Q&A in the morning where you get to ask the important questions. If you missed out on attending Exocon this year, we'll be at Gamescom in Germany in August and PAX West in Seattle in September. At both shows, the Path of Exile 2 booth will have our Exocon demo available to play and a small team of Grinding Games developers, including me and Jonathan, to chat to, and we hope to see you there. Thanks so much for joining us this weekend at Exocon 2023.
Man,
have a great show, everyone.
I would not be at Gamescom this year. Unfortunately. Alrighty. Well, that was amazing, but this is where we are basically slowly wrapping it up. Folks, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I know it's late for a lot of you folks. It's late for me. It's literally 1:30. No, actually they managed in 1.5 hours. Not bad. I know this sounds weird, but I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't showcase the mobile version of the game a bit. Like, I would have loved to see a bit more of it, and I hope that we actually get that a little bit earlier, because you only have the end game in mobile, and I would like that. Oh well, whatever. PoE2, wow, that looks amazing, but I would have not expected closed beta, not even release, but closed beta in June. That's rough. Don't get me wrong, they should take their time, right? Better than having a game where you just feel like a few hours, oh, that's all. Like, the problem we have with Diablo 4 a little bit right now, right? Like, Diablo 4 is in Season 1, and after a weekend of Season 1, you go, okay, that was nice, I'm done. You don't want that. I said it in my podcast this week for Diablo, that's the last thing you want, ever. Like, you just don't want that. And it can be so damaging to your game, right? And I mean, this is great because that means Last Epoch is coming up at the end of the year, so we can actually play that for quite a while. And I would definitely enjoy it, and will put a lot of time into it. And I don't have to feel pushed by PoE2. But a day after the 1-year anniversary of Diablo 4, the closed beta starts. Like, this is very important. Closed beta. So that probably means the game is not releasing till the end of next year. Now, again, the scope has completely changed for PoE2. Like, extremely changed. So much even that they had to give up on the whole idea of making it like one game, right? A bit like, maybe they saw Overwatch 2 And what happened with Overwatch 2 and Overwatch 1, and they were just like, let's not do that. Let's not go for that, right? I appreciate that. I really do, because I think that Overwatch 2 was not a good decision, right? So I love that they realize that they're changing too much in PoE1 to replace PoE2, because it's not an expansion anymore. It's its own game. So that's great. I just... a year till closed beta. I'm pretty sure that you are not easily getting into the closed beta, and I'm pretty sure that I'm not the lucky one who gets easily into the closed beta. So I don't have the connections anymore with grinding gear games. So that is gone for a while. But yeah, still, it looked fantastic. I'm very much curious to see the deep dives, but that we still have to wait for June next year. I mean, in the end, it's probably good. We have too many crazy games this year. There are still so many crazy games coming out this year, and I'm already packed. So I can be sure that I can give PoE2 like some good chance when it comes out next year. But with that said, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget, if you're new to the channel, and I know we are not really focusing here too much on PoE, but we are also focusing on like action RPGs in general. Like Diablo IV is a big focus. We are focusing on RPGs. Starfield is the next big game on my list. We are already doing some videos to that. I have a weekly Diablo IV podcast, which might actually change a little bit next week, but we will see about that. And yeah, I will definitely follow Path of Exile 2 when it comes out next year in closed beta. With that said, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, stay safe, and I'll see you next time.